If you're like me, you love spooky things with interesting history, cloaked in danger. Or maybe that's just me. But I am certain this episode's tiki cocktail is the easiest tiki cocktail you'll ever make and has quite an interesting history. And to stir up even more spirits, I'll show you how I made my lighted tiki lamp swizzle. Plus, I'll share unlimited, no strings attached access to the printable template so you can impress your guest with your very own lighted swizzle set. Hello and welcome to the Sunken Compass, my home bar. I'm Angela, your haunted hostess and creator of Pretty Spooky, which is a lifestyle brand and the grown-up's guide for how to create Halloween fun year-round. Since tiki feels like the grown-up version of Halloween, I find ways to reduce its sugary impacts to keep the fun going year-round for my home bar guests and myself. I've created an entire menu of lower carb drink options based on original tiki recipes from the past for several reasons. And while there isn't too much that is healthy about any cocktail, for me, every little bit helps. So wherever I can, I cut the carbs, but keep all the flavor. And I call this my low carb on the high seas approach to tiki cocktails. In this episode of Pretty Spooky Presents, I'll shine a light into the dark and stormy's past with this tiki lamp swizzle. But before we embark on our journey from 1806 England, I'll mention you can get the printable template and instructions for the Pretty Spooky Tiki Lamp Swizzle on my website, prettyspooky.life. It's free, no emails required, no strings attached. These swizzles are just too much fun to keep to myself. While the dark and stormy might be the most effortless tiki cocktail you'll ever make, its origin wasn't such smooth sailing. Matter of fact, Gosling's the company that trademarked the dark and stormy, set course to America, but never made it. For 91 days, their ship, the Mercury, was literally dead in the water. Out of time and with nowhere else to turn, they began their treacherous detour past the notorious ship-shredding coral reefs of the shipwreck capital of the world, Bermuda, where they made the most of their erroneous landing and set up shop, selling their rum in barrels at first. Then, still characteristically looking for the bright spot in a dim situation, during World War II, the Gosling family repurposed the discarded British naval officers' champagne bottles to make their rum more accessible to the masses and sealed the bottles with wax, hence the name Black Seal. And that's not where the Goslings' ties to the British Navy ends. Since ginger beer was being produced on the island of Bermuda as a tonic for seasick sailors, it was discovered that Black Seal rum and ginger beer made the perfect potion when paired with a squeeze of lime. It seems when life gave the Gosling family limes and ginger, they made a dark and stormy. And to make this drink with any other rum would violate the Gosling's trademark. So you better give that mixture a new moniker, because the dark rum poured atop ginger beer resembles a threatening storm brewing on the horizon. It became known as the dark and stormy. However, this is one storm that sailors will happily welcome. Gosling's recipe for the one and only trademark dark and stormy starts with a tall glass filled with ice. Add 6 ounces of Gosling's Stormy ginger beer. Float 2 ounces of Gosling's Black Seal rum on top. Stir until your drink looks like a storm cloud, and a lime wedge garnish is considered optional. And here at the Sunken Compass, while we're still sailing in the same direction, I adjusted course just a little. First, I make my own ginger syrup with fresh ginger in my masticating juicer as 1 part ginger juice, 1 part water, 1 part brown sugar swerve, with 2 ounces of white rum to aid in preservation. You can also make your own ginger syrup without the masticating juicer and throw your fresh peeled and chopped ginger in a blender with water, sweetener, and rum and blend on high until no visible ginger fibers remain. Strain it if necessary. I prefer either of these methods over the stovetop method for adding a brighter, spicier ginger kick to any cocktail. Most low-carb sweeteners will crystallize when refrigerated, but that's par for the course. So for the Dark and Stormy But Lit. Start with 1 ounce fresh lime juice, 1 ounce ginger syrup, 4 ounces of Gosling's diet ginger beer. Fill with enough ice to allow room for 2 ounces Gosling's Black Seal rum. Add more ice. Garnish with a lime wheel, which is just for visual appeal since there's already lime juice in this version and no need for a wedge to squeeze. Add your pretty spooky lighted tiki lamp swizzle to make the Dark and Stormy But Lit. This is one of the easiest tiki cocktails to whip up on a moment's notice, and while it's not currently on my Sunken Compass guest menu, it's a great option for those who aren't accustomed to complex tiki cocktails just yet. I've even used the ginger syrup, lime juice with ginger beer, and a few dashes of Angostura to make the Suffering Bastard mocktail. I garnish it with mint and my homemade Luxardo cherries, which has been a real crowd pleaser here at the Sunken Compass. If you try the Dark and Stormy But Lit recipe and you made your own set of swizzles, let me know what you thought and how it went in the comments. Don't forget the printable template and instructions for the Pretty Spooky Tiki Lamp Swizzles are on my website, prettyspooky.life. Be sure to share pictures of your lit creations under the IG hashtag P.S.LitSwizzles. I loved being your haunted hostess. You're a wonderful guest, and you're welcome back always. Farewell until next time. Cheers. If you're like me, you love spooky things with interesting hair. Did I have lipstick on my teeth? Yes. Yes, I did. Ooh, let's try that again. They began their treacherous detour past the notorious ship-shredding coral reefs, and we'll use the last take. And then still characteristically looking for a bright spot in a dim situation. This is one of the easiest tiki cocktails to whip up on a moment's notice. Garnished with mint and my homemade Luxardo cherries, which has been a real crowd pleaser here at the Sunken Compass. I'll show you how I made my lighted, and then we'll just skip that. Hence the name Black Seal. And that's not where the Goslings and that British naval officers' champagne bottles, blah blah blah. Throw your fresh peeled ginger and chopped ginger in a blender. Let's try that again. Wow. That is really good. That is really, really good.